Are Nigerians really buying Bitcoin for as high as $34,000? I've seen even as high as 40,000 or 48,000 US dollars. Again, remind you, there are currency exchanges going on here, and it's what makes it confusing. And by no means am I a currency expert. What's going on, guys? Brandon here. I'm not the currency wonk or someone that's going to tell you about foreign exchange, because that's just fiat nonsense, to be quite honest. That's why, again, we promote Bitcoin, the global, uncorruptible money, decentralized peer-to-peer money that no one can do anything about. This is exactly why the central banks and the higher ups, the unproductive class, want CBDCs. This is why all of them are coming out with CBDCs. They're 14 years behind the curve. Bitcoin came out. They've been talking about global one world currency, George Soros, all these people for decades, yet they couldn't figure out how to do it. Satoshi came out, did it, and now they don't want it. They want CBDCs. So if anyone, Bitcoin's gonna, or government's gonna ban it, governments are gonna flip a switch and turn it off. They can't do any of those things. China's already tried to ban it multiple times. How is that working for them? They're the ones just losing. By the way, mining is still happening there. People are still using Bitcoin there. So you can't ban Bitcoin. Bitcoin bans you. If you ban Bitcoin, you literally are taking yourself off of the new internet. You're taking yourself out of Web 5.0. As Jack Dorsey said, that you're in clown world. You're confusing what is going on, and you're basically outing yourself. You're saying, I want total control of my citizens, and you're going to use our CBDC, which is nothing but control, controlling money, controlling flow of people, controlling people in general. That's all CBDC is. Period. End of the story. So there's no reason to have a CBDC at all. There's no reason. The government, that's not government's money. It's your money. It's my money. Government, we let government, by the way of the Constitution, by the way of law, have some of the money. It should be a one-to-one trade. And again, we can get into the taxation and theft argument, but it should be a two-way street of saying, hey, you know what? You can go use some of these things for whatever, the greater good, for some roads or whatever. That's about it. Building a wall, keeping us safe, whatever, like that. That's all government is there for. That's all the federal government should be there for. That's all they're supposed to be doing. So CBDCs let's not mince words here. It is purely for control. Since they wanted the global currency, we have a global currency. It's called Bitcoin. However, it's not in their control, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's in the wild now. It's a positive mind virus and digital and physical virus that they can't do anything about. That's the only reason CBDCs are in existence. It's a way to try to take back power from Bitcoin, which you're never going to do. It will ultimately fail over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, how long it takes. Bitcoin is going to destroy CBDCs and eat the lunch of every asset and the monetary premium of every asset. So in the terms of Nigeria and what's going on here, this article says that they're not buying Bitcoin for $34,000. And I had another comment from Robert, and it was a really good comment saying, hey, I thought Bitcoin couldn't be inflated. What's going on here? And really quickly with that, this is the fiat currencies, the Naira, that was being inflated, or is in. All these currencies are being inflated away, right? All these fiat currencies. So it takes more of these same dollars or more of these Nairas to buy the same one Bitcoin. So it's not Bitcoin, nothing to do with Bitcoin being inflated. They're still trying to buy one Bitcoin, or someone's trying to buy 0.1 Bitcoin or 0.00001 Bitcoin, 100 Satoshis or a million Satoshis. And they're having to find more and more Naira, or more dollars, to buy that same one Bitcoin, or that same 1,000 Satoshis, right? So I just wanted to get that straight. It was a really good question. But in here, again, they talk about, and again, like I said, I'm no currency expert. Maybe someone can tell me what's going on here. However, they basically say, oh, there's two currency rates. Well, okay, there's a black market rate and a central bank rate here. Okay, great. But at the end of the day, they say, well, they're not buying Bitcoin at a higher rate. They're purchasing or buying US dollars to convert and then get into Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin. So indirectly, they're paying a higher premium. They're saying, well, they're not buying Bitcoin at a higher price, trying to find more dollars to buy the same Bitcoin. They're trying to find more dollars or more Naira to buy the same dollar that they can then buy Bitcoin with. So you are paying a higher premium. You're trying to find more Naira. So it's costing you more Naira to buy the dollar that can then be used to purchase that Bitcoin. Because apparently the Naira, they can't convert it, or they have limited platforms. There's limited ability right now in Nigeria to buy Bitcoin, which again, there's like 30 to 40% of all young people have Bitcoin there. And again, I want to mention, we did this a few months ago, the e-Naira, the central bank digital currency in Nigeria, is a disaster. It has like half 0.5 of percent, 1/2 of 1% of the adoption rate of the entire country. It's 200 plus million people. It's one of the fifth biggest country in the world, seventh biggest country, and they cannot get anyone to do this because they know people in developing countries that they have seen this. They've seen their currencies destroyed. They've seen dictators, despots. They've seen money be the mechanism to control people, and they don't want that. They don't want CBDC. They don't want government-controlled money. Who in their right mind would pay taxes and pay and use a system where someone else is forcing you and printing the currency and printing more of them, devaluing your wealth, stealing your time and energy away from you? That's all money is your time. It's a bucket for your time and energy, a container for your time and energy. Government's stealing that from you by printing it and debasing that and stealing it from you. It's the hole in the bucket. You're on the hamster wheel. Who would let that happen? Americans let it happen. Everyone in the world's letting that happen right now, right? If you're not on a Bitcoin standard, if you're not buying Bitcoin and trading your time for Bitcoin and thinking in terms of Bitcoin and pricing everything in Bitcoin, you are in a fiat standard where you are being raked over the coals. It's called inflation and hyperinflation. You are going to be destroyed. This is why savers are losers at the end of the day, because they can't get ahead and will never get ahead, because governments are only going to speed up printing and debasement and financial repression coming forward, because they've all talked about it. We know it's coming. We've documented it here forever. This is what's happening. I wanted to make this note because people are getting confused about this. But again, if you're having to find more Naira than what you normally would have to buy the dollar to convert into one Bitcoin, that's still paying a higher price. It's like a gold and silver premium. We're trying to take physical delivery of it, and if you're buying paper, maybe there's a spot price, right? Where, like, again, FTX, for example, they were selling paper Bitcoin. There's a lot of these crypto exchanges, and people. I had another comment. People were like, "Oh, this is all going to zero because these crypto people, people are confusing exchanges with Bitcoin and crypto with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a pristine digital asset, asset without an issuer. It's a digital commodity and a physical commodity because energy is physical, right? And so we just transfer it into the digital realm. It's all atoms at the end of the day. So people get so confused about this. It blows your brain apart, understandably so. And they don't understand that crypto is different. All the altcoins, everything, and the exchanges are exchanges where you buy and sell stuff. And then crypto is all these other 22,000 coins. And there's Bitcoin. Just like Fidelity says, there's Bitcoin first. Bitcoin is its own asset, and then everything else is, I'll say it's a scam. There's garbage. It's going to go to zero all eventually. And anything good that's in it will eventually just be absorbed into the Bitcoin layer, the tech stack, the layer 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So hopefully that makes sense. And the FTX, they issued paper Bitcoin. A lot of it was paper. So like the price didn't even go as high as it could have because they were issuing a whole bunch on their people thought they were buying Bitcoin on like the FTX exchange or whatever, but then that wasn't actually getting bought up in real life. So the price didn't even go as high as it could have in the last couple of years. Think about that. So like it topped off at 70,000, but it could have gone on much higher because a lot of the Bitcoin that being bought supposedly was paper Bitcoin by these scam people, Sam Bankman fraud, all these people that weren't even actually going into the open market and buying it. So it didn't drive the price up even further, right? If there's more and more buying, the price has to go up and up and up until the buying tapers off. Well, that didn't even happen. They were selling paper, just digital, a number in your account. This is why we say you got to get into cold storage. You have to buy from a brokerage or Swan Bitcoin or Strike or something and put it into your own cold storage. You have to transfer the ownership from the brokerage house, the exchange, and put it into your cold wallet. Make sure you have the key, not your keys, not your coins, right? At the end of the day. So please, 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 please do that. Heed these warnings. I wanted to make a clarification on this and some of the questions we got. This is incredibly important. And I'm going to make another video about, again, another a question that we had as well that we'll put up, and you can see that. We'll kind of go through that and dissect that because there's a lot of beginner questions, a lot of beginner objections, and we're going to go through that and piece that apart. So appreciate your time and energy. Again, this is what happens when people understand what's going on. No one's adopting the CBDC because that's slavery, and they know better. People in America don't know. People in Canada, they have no idea. Like they just think like, oh, my government's fine, like it's great. Well, people in the developing world, people south of the equator, they all know their governments are disasters. So any chance, this is why Jack Mallers just came out with in the Philippines and in Brazil, a bunch of countries in Africa, El Salvador, they know they are adopting Bitcoin at alarming rates, at amazing rates. I shouldn't say alarming, but unbelievable rates because they know what it happens and they know when you put money in the hands of bad people, what happens. That's why they want control of their own money, assets without an issuer, and that people control. Right? Rules without rulers instead of rulers without rules, which is what we have here really north of the equator in a lot of the Western societies, unfortunately. So I appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important asset we have. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please share this. Please get this out. This is just super important so we can stop the rookie mistakes and the illogical thinking with a lot of these things going on and people just not understanding what's going on. Freedom's right in front of them. It's not financial advice. It's freedom advice. People just, you know what? I'm going to go buy some Apple stock. Good luck. Good luck. Appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important thing we have. It's the only finite thing we have, like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is time and time is Bitcoin. We'll see you on the next one.